All right. Thank you. I was on mute. Awesome. See, I've been off for a little while, so they changed the setting here. Thank you. So today I'm talking about NFTs. NFTs have been, making a splash around the whole world, right? And a lot of people are really interested in how they work, how can you buy them, why are they valuable, are they valuable? And I feel like more people are interested in this side of things than cryptocurrency and coins. So I said, you know what, this is a good opportunity to teach people both sides and start to explain why NFTs are so important, but how they are connected to crypto and what makes them different. So the first thing is NFTs. If you don't know what they are. It's called non-fungible tokens. NFT, non-fungible tokens. So an NFT is still a token. It is still a like a cryptocurrency, but it's a fungible token, a non-fungible token. Cryptocurrencies are fungible tokens, meaning they're all worth the same. So one Bitcoin is worth another Bitcoin. NFTs, you can have a project where there's the same kind of NFT, but because one has a little bit more of a rare trait, it's worth more money. So it's fungible. It's non-fungible. So where NFTs start to get really complicated is you could do a lot more once you have an NFT. NFTs can be access to communities. NFTs can be access to places in the metaverse. NFTs can be actual land in the metaverse. NFTs can be buildings to put on land in the metaverse. So it starts to get these layers and layers and layers on top of all this, and it gets really exciting. So what I wanted to do today is kind of talk about my learnings, the things I did right, the things I did wrong, the things I got super lucky on while collecting NFTs for a full year now. My first NFT was purchased around this time last year. So I'm going to start showing you how to look up people's wallets, how to find out what people have, and then I'm going to explain to you the real value of what these things are and how to assess whether you should buy one. Well, with my own strategy, I'll tell you my strategy and what I've learned during the year. So where we start out is there's websites and I don't know if you see, like even my name right now on Twitter or Instagram is Miguel Sanchez .eth, on LinkedIn as well, right? So most people, you see these .eths, but most people do not understand what those things are. Like those are access to people's wallets, right? So I'm about to show you my Miguel Sanchez .eth wallet, right? So you go to zapper.fi and you type in right here Miguel Sanchez .eth, you can see my wallet. You press that and you will see this is a public wallet that I have that I'm okay with people seeing, right? I have wallets that I'm okay with people seeing. I have wallets that I'm not okay with people seeing, right? So when you have an ETH, it's because you want people to easily be able to go see your wallet and what NFTs and what coins you have in your wallet. So when you see this number of net worth, that I definitely did not pay that much for my NFTs. And it's questionable if it's really that valuable, right? So I'm going to show you, I'm going to break down what I did, why I'm looking at that number, and I'm not as excited as you would be. Yesterday, that number was over $350,000, and today is 200. Tomorrow it could be 700. It's very volatile, and it's very hard to really understand the value of an NFT. Also, NFTs are not that liquid. When you think about liquid, what that means is look at this NFT right here. Yesterday, this NFT was worth over $200,000. The same day, it was worth $600. So in one day, it went from 600 to 200 and something thousand, down to 95,000. And everybody's like, yeah, but what's the real value of it? Just like anything else, the real value is what somebody is willing to pay you for it. So right now, the only reason this is in here with the value of 94,333 is because if we go to OpenSea, these numbers come from OpenSea. They take the floor price of the NFT. What is the floor price? The floor price is the cheapest listing of that NFT. So right now, only people willing to sell it, like this has a lot of NFTs. Look, there's 250 of these. Only 6 are available for sale. And the cheapest one is 30 Ethereum, $94,000. So in here, oh, that's the wrong one. Nope, wrong one again. All right. In here, they value it at $94,300 because of the floor price on OpenSea. But like I said, yesterday, this wasn't the floor price. This was the floor price, $215,000. So somebody listed theirs for cheaper, making the floor go down to 30 from 68. Again, do I believe today I can get $90,000 for this NFT? No, I don't. So what I do believe is that this NFT is valuable to me for another reason entirely. I bought this NFT for 0.2 Ethereum. I'm going to show you what that is in actual dollars. CoinGecko is another big site that I use that helps me to trade crypto. $630. And now they're saying it's worth $95,000. What is this NFT? This NFT is a community of metaverse builders. When I was starting to understand the metaverse and I bought my own land, I said, wait a minute, I'm going to have to build stuff on it. I know how to do 3D. I know how to do animation. I know how to code. I could do this myself. But finding stuff on how to do it was very, very hard. So I found this community, but there was no NFTs left. They were all very expensive like this. And I was like, man, I can't get in this community. And then they released like 50 more slots at 0.2. And I just randomly caught it and I bought it for 0.2 Ethereum. And now the cheapest one is 30. But I do think about this. If somebody was to come to me right now and say, I'll give you $100,000 for this NFT, would I sell it? I don't know, because this is one of the hardest communities to get in, and it's to build stuff in the metaverse. All the people that are building things in the metaverse, they're in this community. So I have to make a decision like, is $100,000 right now better than being one of the few people that can actually build stuff in the metaverse? I don't know. But again, these are good problems to have. But when I bought this NFT, I did not expect to ever sell it for this type of money. I don't think anybody's going to come to me and want to buy my slot. I think the way these guys did it was they just limited the amount of people that work together and figure stuff out together by buying it. I don't know if I've seen, and look, you can even tell if anybody has bought. Look, the last sales were all 0.2. So nobody came in here and bought one for $50,000, $100,000. These are all people like me that bought it for 0.2. But now they don't want to get out of this network. So there's only 6 people willing to sell. And they're all willing to sell only if you spend a certain amount of money. And that's how the NFT space works. It's not liquid. Like if you see these Bored Apes and you see a Bored Ape worth $1 million, that means you need a celebrity to come along and buy the Bored Ape, or you're not going to get that money, right? So it's not liquid where you can just say, okay, I have $1 million, I'll have it tomorrow. The difference is with a project like these. So look at these 2 projects right here. This project, I bought each piece of land here. I bought them for $1,500 each. This was about 4 months ago, maybe 5, 3, something like that. They all were $1,500. I bought 4 because I did believe that this project would do well. I didn't expect it to go this high, this fast. I was total luck. But I did believe in the metaverse before most people did. One of my biggest videos on YouTube is me explaining the opportunity of the metaverse, and I didn't even have land yet. So I was really getting into understanding it. And I was like, wow, this is going to be the future. And then Mark Zuckerberg said it, copying me again. So Mark Zuckerberg saying it raised the prices all over. But the reason why I bring up this project, and I'll show you the other one, is there's two ways you can buy this project on OpenSea. Watch this. So let's take this piece of land. All right, just go to this project. And again, anybody with questions, put them in the chat. So if you go here, right, you see the floor price of this land is 3.65 Ethereum. Again, I paid $1,500. I didn't pay this much. So, but you see, there's people offering me money for this right now. Look, 3.3. So right now, if I wanted to sell this, I could get $10,000 right now because people are offering me this money. But if you looked at the other one, there was no offers. So this one, I could sell. And there's a reason. This one is much more popular, right? Okay, that's not actually mine. This is somebody else's. But mine is getting offers as well. So people will put in offers less than the floor price to see if you'll sell. So again, this is where you got to understand with NFTs. When you buy an NFT, you can't just think that the price you paid for it is the price it's going to be when you sell it. It's either going to go up or down. It never stays the same, right? So the problem with NFTs and the liquidity of them is, let's say I actually needed that money today. And I say, you know what? I gotta buy a new car. Let me sell one of these. I have to hope somebody put a bid in there for the price I want to sell it for. Most of the time, that's not the case, right? Like, look at these people. They're trying to buy it for $1,000 less than the listing price. So most of the time, when you sell it, you're not gonna want to sell it at the time you need to sell it. You're going to either want to list it for more than you bought it, and hopefully somebody comes along and just buys it, but you never want to have to sell it on a day that you actually need the money, because then you're going to have to take less for this asset. So that's a major thing to understand when you're buying NFTs. If you're buying them just for the value and being able to make money. But that's what most of us are buying them for. That's what I buy them for. There's been very few NFTs that I've bought just because I've liked the art. I would tell you probably only one that I bought because I like the art, but I also did believe that it'll be worth more money. And I'll show it to you. So these lands, there's two ways of buying them. You can buy them through Ethereum, or you can buy them through a coin called Sand. So if you see, some of them are listed that you can buy them with the Sand coin. Actually, let's see. You could say buy now, and then you could say sale in Sand. So you see how this is 3,200 Sand. So if we go back to CoinGecko and we press Sand, put the Sand coin in, and we put 3,200 Sand, that's $13,000. So here, this person is trying to sell it for $13,000, but it's in this Sand coin. So I bring this up because you could buy the land, or you could buy the Sand coin. The Sand coin is much more liquid. If you wanted to sell 3,200 Sand right now, you could sell it, no problem. You get that money right away. But if you wanted to sell that land, you have to hope somebody's willing to buy it off you for 3,200 Sand right now. How likely is that? Probably not very likely. So this is where most people don't understand that about NFTs. And it took me a while to watch it and learn how people were flipping NFTs to really understand that. And now what I do is, even on these, I have I've had enough Sand to maybe buy another piece of property, but I don't want to. I'd rather keep buying and selling the coin because it's much more liquid. I may get up to the point where I have enough Sand where I buy another piece of land, maybe, but I'm more want to trade the coin. So this is something that is very, very important to understand, because this just happened to me too. Look at this piece of property right here. I bought this one for 10,000 mana. So I'm going to show you mana. Mana coin now is $3.36. When I bought the property, it was not $3.36. 10,000 mana is $33,600, right? So if I wanted to sell this today, someone will have to give me $33,600 just to get back the same amount I already put in. So of course I wouldn't want to do that, right? I wouldn't want to sell it for more than I paid, because I paid 10,000 sand for this land. I would want more than 10,000 sand. At one point, this coin was worth $5.20. So this land was worth $52,000. And at that moment is when I learned the lesson about the coin. Because I was like, man, if I had that in coins, I would sell some of it, wait for it to come back down, and buy more. But because it was in the land, I started to say, man, but I really like this location. If I sell this land, first of all, somebody will have to be willing to give me more than $52,000 for it, which I didn't really think, and I wasn't getting any bids on that. But I could also possibly never get this land back in this location, which is it's like a main street, multiple area that people can walk into my location. So I was like, I'm kind of stuck with this land. I'm not going to sell it, even though I really wanted to. And I was like, man, that's $50,000. You know how much I paid for this one? I bought a bunch of mana when it was 40 cents. So I don't remember the exact numbers, but I bought a lot, like a few $1,000s when it was 40 cents. So I had a bunch. Then the price kept going up and up and up, but I didn't pay. I paid 40 cents per coin. Now the coins are worth $3. That's almost 10 times more money, right? But if I had it in coins, I could have really cashed out that money. But since I put it in the land, I had to make other kind of decisions, right? I had to decide if I thought the position of that land was more valuable to me. And I thought it's better to keep the land where that location is, because when more and more people come in here and are walking down the streets, I wanted to be on a main street. So I kept it. Let me look to see if there's any questions from anybody. All right. So that is a major thing. But this is a specific type of NFT. This is actually metaverse land. So there's many variables, because I know there's usage. I know there's going to be, I could throw galleries. I could do parties. I could sell merchandise. There's multiple ways I can make money with that. And that's why I bought it. Okay, so now I'm going to take you to the next NFT that it's going to seem super weird. Pixelated cats worth $3,000 each. Why? What makes these cats worth $3,000? Okay, so here's the story of the moon cats. The moon cats were the third NFT project on the blockchain. This is the third project in the history of NFTs. And nobody knew they existed till this year, I believe. Last year in about May, somebody who knows how to look on the blockchain found these. And they rescued them. That's why it says Mooncat Rescue. They basically bought them off the blockchain, and 20,000 were hidden in the blockchain and nobody knew it. So people started buying them. They actually were getting them for free just using the Ethereum gas fee. And I missed it. I was on Clubhouse for many, many days in a row. And then these people found this. And that was one of the days I just wasn't on. These things were going for tens of thousands of dollars. And I'll show you. But just like anything, crypto, any market, there's highs and lows. You never want to buy something in the rise of the hype. So look, at this point here, these things were selling for a lot of money. Look, 2.5 Ethereum. This was when Ethereum was like $4,000, right? That's a lot. It's like $12,000 each. So again, I was like, you know what? If I could own one day, I will, but I'm going to wait. I'm not going to pay for them now. So eventually they got down to about $1,200, I believe I paid for them. And now they're worth $3,000. But if you see these ups and downs, most people buy on the ups. It's the same thing with coins. I showed you this Decentraland. I told you, I bought it when it was about 40 something cents. And then it went to $5. And all my friends were like, oh, I'm going to buy. And I'm like, don't buy right now. I wouldn't buy if I were you. The price is going to come down. No, I think it's going to keep going. I don't see it ever coming back. I was like, all right. And look what happened. It came all the way back down to $2. It never got back to 40 cents, sure. But it came down to $2 from $5. So if you would have been buying here, you would have lost a lot of money. And this is the case with every single cryptocurrency, every single NFT. So if you see too much hype around a coin or an NFT, that's not the time to buy it. Wait. If this thing is going to stand the test of time, if you didn't catch it early, wait till it comes back. But there is another side of this. That could be a good time to sell it. And then when it comes back down, you can buy it again for cheaper. And that's how these flippers are making money. And that's how you make money in crypto too. So if you look at Bitcoin, it's the same exact idea. Nobody wants to buy it when it's low. When it goes high, everybody starts buying it, but then it drops. And that's when everybody sells. Instead of buying it when it's lower and selling some when it's higher. I'm not going to make this too much about crypto, but it is very similar. It's very similar. They have the same patterns. And there's a big thing that I noticed in this full year. Every time the crypto coins go up, the NFT values go down. And every time the crypto values go down, the NFT values go up. Why do you think this is? This is because people are degenerates. People always want to trade something. So when the price of crypto is down, you're not going to trade crypto. So they start trading NFTs. So the values go up. Then when crypto starts coming back up, people want money to buy crypto. So they start selling the NFTs. So the NFT values go down and they start buying the crypto. So the smart people are buying NFTs when they're down, selling them when they go up, buying crypto when they're down, selling it when it goes up, and they keep doing this and they make money throughout all times. And this is how people are getting rich using crypto and NFTs. So I won't go too far into that, but that's the truth. And you'll see it now if you start watching it. Any questions, again, put it in the chat anywhere. So the next thing I want to show you before I keep showing you my NFTs is OpenSea. This is the most popular NFT marketplace. Last year, I believe they did about $14 billion in sales, maybe a little bit more. This is where most people go buy their NFTs. This is what I've been showing you. If you want to explore, they show you the floors. This is the floor of this one. So it's 2.75. That's the lowest one listed. The floor is important because that gives you the value of the project, because people assume that you can sell it for at least the floor, if not more. So it's the baseline value is based on the floor price. So you can see the floor prices. You can see the different types. There's art, music, photography, virtual land, which is one of my favorites, as you see. There's names, like Miguel Sanchez.eth is a name. It's an NFT. There's art. What makes NFTs valuable, right? I just told you the story of the Mooncats. What I believe is because this is the third NFT project in the history of NFTs, one day people are going to look back at this project and say, this is like a historic NFT. And right now there's NFTs that are worth way more than it. But I do think over time, and if you're investing, you want to think long term, I think these are going to be worth more than a lot of these projects that are worth more than it right now. Because what the NFT space is like, it's like high school. It's the popular kids making things popular. And things fall out of popularity. But historic things don't, right? Like, this is not the cool new thing, but it still has a historic value to it. So to me, I collect based on what I think is going to happen long term. And not always. I've got caught up in the high school popularity contest too. You try to catch the things that you believe are going to be popular. So you buy them before everybody else buys them, but then they don't become popular, or you get lucky. I was in Clubhouse while the Bored Apes were 0.8 Ethereum. Back then, that was probably like $800. Again, I'm listening to people talk about them, and I'm like, they're ugly. They're ugly to me. I don't like them. In hindsight, of course, I should have bought them. Of course, because now they're worth millions of dollars. But I didn't understand a few things. One, I didn't understand that the community, the cool kids, were going to latch on to it because I thought it was ugly. So I didn't see the value in it. I didn't like the way they looked. I like the way the Mooncats look. They kind of had like an old school Nintendo look. I was like, it looks old. It's the first cat project. People are crazy about cats on the internet. It's going to be worth more one day. I just really, truly believe that. So I said, I'll buy these. But again, I bought them very late. The Bored Apes, I didn't see it. And then also they had another thing that I didn't fully understand then. It's this thing about sharing the IP rights. So IP rights, if you don't understand what IP rights are, it's intellectual property. So when you buy the Bored Ape NFT, you get to use that however you want to make money. That was innovative, and I didn't understand that when I was in that room. I like to think if I did, I probably would have bought it because I could have done anything. I could have made a Bored Ape the mass ideation logo, and now it would be more popular because people know the Bored Apes and they know they're valuable. So just having that icon, people would have been like, what is this, right? That was innovative because the CryptoPunks were the first NFT project. So it was the CryptoPunks. The second, sorry. First was the Curio cards, at least from my understanding. Curio cards, then the CryptoPunks, then the Mooncats. So the CryptoPunks were the first PFP. When you hear PFP, that means profile picture. So those projects where it looks like a profile picture, those are PFPs. CryptoPunks was the first PFP. Bored Apes are the most valuable PFP. CryptoPunks were way more valuable. What changed it was the fact that the CryptoPunks didn't give you IP rights. So I can't use the CryptoPunk however I want to make money, but I can with the Bored Ape. That's why people are more thinking that Bored Apes are more valuable right now. The Justin Biebers, the whoever's, the celebrities, they're all buying Bored Apes because they know they could do anything they want. That Bored Ape could be in a music video with them. They can make t-shirts. They can make hats. That's pretty cool, right? If you think about it, of course, $1 million, I don't know about that, but 0.8 Ethereum, I would have did that, I think. But that's a lesson. That was a lesson, right? Look at the innovation, not just the art. Because sometimes you're not going to like the art, but the innovation could be the thing that makes it more valuable, right? So now when I look at things, I don't just look at it and say, do I like the art? I do look at the innovation and say, do I believe this is going to make it into the popular high school table, right? And that's really what we're doing. That's what all investing is. No matter what you invest in, stock, crypto, real estate, NFTs, you are investing in the belief that it's going to become more popular than it is right now. So somebody's going to come along and want to pay you more than you paid for it. So when I bought the property in Las Arenas, it's because I saw Las Arenas and I said, people are going to want to come here. They just don't know about it as much. So let me buy it now. And later when they realize it's super cool, they're going to want to come. And now all kind of celebrities are buying there. Cardi B, Ozuna. But I bought 2 years before they did because I thought the popular kids would come there, right? With the land, same thing. I was like, this is going to be pretty popular once people understand what can be done here. Most people don't understand it. I do. Let me buy it now. And I was right. Again, luck, somewhat, because I didn't think it would happen that fast. So again, any questions, definitely let me know. But I'm going to keep showing you guys more of the NFTs and explain. So I could start explaining like the wins and losses. That Bored Ape, man, I probably wouldn't even be making videos right now if I bought a Bored Ape. I'd just be rich somewhere. But again, am I rich with a Bored Ape right now? Am I? I have something that's worth $1 million. But can I do anything with that $1 million? I posted something on Instagram like, my NFT wallet is worth $10 million, but I can't afford dinner tonight. Can you lend me some money? That's pretty much what it is, right? Like at the end of the day, you have this wallet worth whatever amount, but you can't do anything with that NFT to buy it. At least with crypto, you can sell some of it and use it. And I've done that many times. Or you can leverage your cryptocurrency and borrow off of it, which I've done. Actually, all my NFTs, I didn't pay with my Ethereum, my Bitcoin, my Matic. I borrow off of it, and then I buy the NFT. This way, I keep both. And if one goes well, I just pay back the loan, and I know I win either way, right? If I just lost the money, I just pay back the loan. If the NFT is worth more, then I'm good, right? So that's what I do. And that's what I teach people how to do. Because I don't think it's smart to spend all your Ethereum on NFTs, because Ethereum one day could be worth $200,000 a coin. And I made a mistake like that. In the beginning, I bought my first NFT with actual Ethereum. I bought an NFT for half an Ethereum. And I was like, man, what if that one day goes to $200,000? I just bought this NFT for $100,000. That's incredibly dumb. But then I realized I could borrow off of Ethereum, take out cash, turn that into Ethereum, buy the NFT. Now I only owe myself that cash to pay back my loan. And of course, I could have bought more Ethereum with that $500, but I took the risk on an NFT instead. So everything you see here, all the land, all the things, I borrowed off of my other crypto to do that. So that's super important to understand. I did not use my crypto to do it. So let me show you more. Again, any questions, ask them, because this is definitely complicated stuff. I get it. This is the only one I bought as an art piece that I said, if I get stuck owning this, I'm okay with it, because it does something pretty cool. And I'm going to show you what that is. Let me see. I'll go to it. Can I? No. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Sorry. All right. So what I can do is I'll go to OpenSea. I'll find the version of it. And I'll show you what it does. This is not mine, but it's just like this. It's interactive art. So when you press it, it moves. And when you press buttons, it does different things. And this was the first project I saw on the blockchain that did this. So I said, I believe one day people will understand how cool this is technology-wise. Right now, most people do not understand that at all. I do, because I've done this before, and I understand that this is not normal. Having interactive code on the blockchain, that's pretty cool. So I said, you know what? I like it, and I could just stare at it and zone out, or one day somebody could pay me more for it, right? So I did collect this as art and felt like maybe one day somebody will give me more money for it, but if not, It's my favorite color, blue, and I really like the way it's it moves. It just lets me zone out. I like it. So that was that one. It is worth probably more than I paid for it. I don't remember. It looks like it is. I don't think I paid $6,000 for it. That's for sure. Oh, and this is something that happens. See, the price of this changed. It just went to $1,000. Sometimes the system breaks and it just lists things at different prices. That's another thing you have to understand if you are looking at it as a value thing. This one is another piece of land. How I found this is really interesting, and what I'm going to explain it because I do believe this was one of the ones that I started to understand the cool kids table in high school. So I was on Twitter, which is where I find most of my information about NFTs. If you're not on Twitter, don't collect NFTs. If you're looking for your stuff on Instagram, YouTube's all right, but Instagram is the worst for NFTs. Twitter's the number one spot. So I was on Twitter and I follow all the cool kids. And they all started talking about this project. And I was like, wait a minute, this is going to pop, I think. So again, I borrowed off my crypto and I bought a medium apartment in this virtual world for 0.59 Ethereum, a little bit more than half an Ethereum. And I was like, I think this is going to go big because a lot of people are talking about it. Nobody really knows other than these cool kids. Let me go and buy it. Within a week, it like 4x'd. So it went. So right now you see this value, 4,000. This is based on the floor of the entire project. So this is where you got to understand some of this stuff. All right, so you see the floor is 1.4 or 1.42. So if you click this, you see the 4,000. Actually, am I sharing my screen? Yes, I am. All right, so you see the 4,000. But I don't have a small apartment. I bought a medium apartment. Right? So even the small one is almost 3 times more than I paid. Right? So a medium apartment, the cheapest medium apartment is 1.89, which is almost 6,000. Right? Again, I paid, I feel like $1,200, $1,300 because it's based on Ethereum's price at that time. It was 0.59 though. And now it's 1.89. It's a lot more. So this is why NFTs bring in this opportunity. In a very short time, that went, and it actually was higher than that. That went from 0.59 to I think it was almost 2.5 Ethereum at one point. And again, I was stuck because I was like, man, should I sell this right now? It's worth a lot. But I didn't know. I didn't feel like you don't know where you are with this land. There's no like position. So I was like, maybe I should sell it. Maybe I should sell it. But again, what you got to do when you invest is you have to understand how you are going to feel about this investment. Because if you can't sleep at night, it's not a good investment. I have coaching clients that I work with that have a lot of money. But for some reason, cryptocurrency scares them in the beginning, where they're like, I can't sleep knowing my money's going to go up and down that much. So I tell them, look, maybe this is not the right investment for you. But over time, they get used to it and they make a lot of money. But you got to be okay with those ups and downs. But with what I found for myself is with NFTs, I have not been able to pull the trigger on not one NFT. I've not sold one NFT yet. And I'm like, I gotta do it. I gotta eventually do it. I'm not sure which one, but I do know when I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sell my first NFT when Coinbase releases their NFT platform. Why is that? The cool kids again, right? Right now, anybody buying NFTs got to the cool kids table, understand what to do, and they bought. But now the entire high school is about to come in to the lunchroom. That's what's going to happen when Coinbase launches its NFT platform. Right now, they say a total in the history of the world, probably 1,000 wallets have bought, 1 million wallets have bought NFTs. And if you understand, like people like me, we have a lot of wallets. So people believe there might be 100 to 500,000 people who actually own NFTs, because most people have like 5-10 wallets. When Coinbase releases Coinbase NFT, they're going to have more than 3 million. Actually, the numbers I've heard is between 3 and 10 million new people that are going to be able to buy NFTs, and easy on Coinbase. So I believe that might be the time that I'm going to put my NFTs up for a high price, and if somebody's willing to buy it, I'll sell it to them, because I want to sell it, but I don't want to sell it at a bad time. And I believe that's going to be a hype point. I believe when Coinbase launches their NFT platform, there's going to be a frenzy. People are going to want to buy, and that's going to be one of those spikes. So that's when I'm going to sell my first NFT. I'll keep you posted on that. All right. I've been going for a while. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Nope. All right. So OpenSea did about, like I said, about $13 billion of sales, something like that. I got to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's about that. This NFT platform came out in January. The difference with this NFT platform is they say if you bought NFTs, a certain amount of NFTs on OpenSea, they'll give you free tokens of their platform. And then if you stake your tokens, meaning you let them keep them by putting them in here, they'll give you 206% interest. Where can you get 200% interest? Nowhere. Plus, they'll share the revenue with you on the platform. So every time somebody buys, they're going to give you a percentage of it. What do you think happened to the entire NFT market once they launched? Everybody started coming here. The first month of them existing, they sold $9 billion worth of NFTs. This is why you got to understand crypto, though. This is coins. They gave us free coins. We staked them. And I'm one of many people, and I got nowhere near what some of these big guys got and girls. I made about $600-700 in Ethereum from them sharing the profits with me. And they gave me about 100 more tokens for free. I got all that stuff for free, actually. That's very important to understand. Platforms are going to come along and they're going to try to benefit the buyer, the creator, more. And this one just did it to OpenSea. Me personally, when I list my NFTs, I'm going to list them here because they're going to share the profit with me. Coinbase is not going to share the profit with me. OpenSea is not going to share the profit with me. They are. So I'm listing my NFTs here. And most people are thinking just like me. You're going to share profit with me? I'm your partner. That's where I'm selling, right? So that's important. Another big thing people ask me, how do you research NFTs? This is a cool site that I also use, but I mostly use Twitter. I'll be honest, I follow all the cool kids and I see what they're talking about on the lunchroom table. And then I buy based on what I believe is going to have the longest lasting power in the space, or other people are going to come along later and want to buy. And I've been wrong a lot. I'm just showing you my wins right now, but I've been wrong a lot, right? So let me show you anything else that I think is very cool. Okay, so this is the first ever project. I told you about this one. I bought 3 of these. I think I paid about the same that they are worth now. But I do believe over the test of time, when people realize it's the first NFT project, people are going to want these. So I'll hold them for a long time. This project here, super interesting. Again, I was watching all the cool kids talk about this thing called Rug Radio. It's like, what the hell is this? They had a big Discord channel with a bunch of people in it. So I go to the Discord, start looking around. That's another thing. You got to get very familiar with Discord. But don't click any links on Discord that you are not sure about, and don't answer any DMs, because people can send you a link, you click it, and they steal all your stuff. So what I do is, as you see right now, I am browsing on Chrome. I do all my transactions on Brave browser. I do not click any link that goes to Brave browser. I only click links that go to Chrome and another browser. It's a big thing because you can lose your NFTs. There have been people that lost. Actually, I saw a story today. Somebody lost a Bored Ape worth hundreds of thousands of dollars by clicking a link on Discord. Here's another way to keep your NFT safe. Go to CW Crypto Wallet Miguel.com. I wish I knew this starting out, but I'm telling you, before you buy an NFT or any cryptocurrencies, buy this first. These are what's called cold storage wallets. You can buy them here, keep them on here, but they can't be stolen the same way where somebody clicks a link. Because in order for you to make a transaction, you have to press one of these buttons. So a hacker will have to literally be with you pressing the button to steal your stuff. And they will have to then send it to themselves by clicking the button. So this is a way to keep your stuff safe. Again, I learned this very late. So now I got to send a bunch of stuff to this. And it costs money every time I do that. So I'm not doing it with everything. I'm only doing it with stuff that's worth the gas fee of doing that. So if you don't know what gas fee is, this has been a big topic. Gas fee is the transaction cost of buying something on the Ethereum network. So let's say we want to buy this NFT. Let's say we look at this one and we want to buy this one. It's $2,100. When we go to press buy, it's going to add on probably $100, $200 of a fee. And that's the Ethereum gas fee. At the lowest levels, they're about $50 a gas fee. So that's not for everybody, right? Like, you're not going to buy $100 thing and pay $50 fee for it. I've done that. So, but it was the only option when I did it. So what is my next belief is most people are going to start buying NFTs on the Solana network, because Solana's gas fee is less than a penny. So if I want to buy this NFT right here, oops, let me take me to the right place. This is an NFT platform just like OpenSea. So let's say I wanted to buy Monkey Labs, whatever, and I wanted to buy this, I would pay 27 SOL plus less than 1 penny. Versus on Ethereum, I would pay 27 Ethereum plus $200. So I believe more people are going to buy on Solana, but the cool kids are the only ones that know it so far, right? The regular people are going to get there. They're going to learn it with Coinbase NFT. They're also going to launch on the Solana blockchain. So that's my good information early. Start looking at Solana NFTs. Those are going to blow up because they're so easy to trade for very cheap prices. So that's a good early stage thing to understand. But I'll show you some bad NFTs I bought too. This is another wallet of mine. And this is a good one. I made this mistake. Very bad mistake. I started watching people's wallets. So I'll show you. Right now, we can look in Shaq's wallet. Shaq.eth. That's his real name. Is his name on Twitter. So we could go and we see Shaq's wallet right now. We're going to see what NFTs he has. So I started doing this with famous people, venture capitalists. But I didn't realize something. I mean, it did work in one aspect. The reason why I bought the Sandbox land was because I saw a bunch of venture capitalists had it in their wallet. So I said, I don't really like the way this looks. Again, I didn't like the way the game looked. But again, I learned from the Bored Apes. I said, all these cool kids, the venture capitalists are the smartest, richest people in the world because they invest in early stage startups and they make billions of dollars. I said, the cool kids know something I don't know. I don't gotta like the way it looks. I'm buying 4 of them. That worked out very well. But that system also backfired on me, right? So let's say you go into Shaq's wallet. Again, this is public wallet. He wants people to see this. He has a mutant ape. He has rocket fuel, baby cake. You don't even know what any of these are. I don't know what they are. So let's say I look at one like, let's say I look at this one. And again, I don't know if this is the case. But I look at this one. I'm like, all right, Shaq is collecting this. The floor price is 0.08. I should buy one because if Shaq is right, and Shaq is Shaq, he's one of the coolest kids at the lunch table. I can make a lot of money, right? So I would go, and I did this many times till I learned my lesson. I would go buy one because I saw it in Shaq's wallet. But I didn't understand that these projects, they send stuff to the celebrity's wallet so you could think what I thought. And I was buying stupid things thinking that the celebrity was buying it and it was part of the cool kids. But it wasn't. And I lost a lot doing that. So that's a major lesson. Once you understand how to look at people's wallets, you still have to do your own research. Don't just take the fact that you see something in somebody's wallet as a reason to buy. So even when I learned with the sandbox, I didn't like it, but I said, let me learn more about why these venture capitalists have it in their wallet. And I learned that this land, you're going to be able to play games on this land and make money. People who are going to play games on the land are going to make money, and you're going to make money from owning the land. So I was like, okay, I like that. I'm going to do that. Again, there's things on here that I bought thinking, and look, they're worth very little. This was another one. I did this. This one was another one. I did this one. One of the top venture capitalists. I'll show you his wallet. This wallet is no joke. I follow this guy. I listen to his podcast. You can see it hasn't even finished loading. He got $970,000 in his wallet. And watch, by the time it ends, you might fall off your chair. Oh, they didn't even put them all. Let's see. I gotta refresh. Oh, that was just his coins. It's not even his NFTs. So sometimes it's just you gotta do it a few times to get the NFTs too. Again, I'll check to see if anybody has any questions. Look at that. And it's much lower than it used to be. This wallet at one point was $10 million. He must have sold some. So I was going through this guy's wallet. Like, okay, he obviously knows. And look, he has 12 sandbox. And he had more, actually, so he sold some. I was like, all right. I saw these. I can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it. This was $1,500. I was like, all right. But then this one that I showed you, the one I showed you before with the rooms, they were like $70. No, they were like $200. So I was like, all right, it's in his wallet. Let's see if he's still in his wallet. Actually. And look, he has a bunch of stuff. Oh, look, it is in his wallet. So I saw he had 10 of them, and they were worth like $250, $300, something like that. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy 2. Let's see. They're worth nothing now because these people probably send it to his wallet. And I was one of the dumbasses that bought it thinking it was something that he bought. So don't do that. Learn how to make your own decisions on if this NFT project is something you want to collect. So here's the way I buy NFTs. 1, if I get stuck with it, am I cool with that? Do I have something I could do with that NFT on my land or in other ways? So now I also mostly buy NFTs that I got the IP rights to. Because worst case scenario, I'm stuck with it. At least I have this character that I might be able to do something with one day. Who knows? But at least I have the option, right? Another thing, if I believe in a project, I try to buy more than one. If I could. Why? Remember what I told you about the land going up in value. If I would have had two, probably would have sold one. But the fact that I only had one, I had to really like decide, do I want to sell this thing or do I want to keep it? And I decided to keep it, even though I was really looking at it like, wow, $50,000. Like, that's crazy. I didn't pay nowhere near that. It's like 10 times more than I paid for it. I should sell it. But I decided not to. We'll see if I was right or wrong about that. I think I'm going to just keep that. I'm going to do all kind of stuff on that land. And people have offered me some crazy stuff. Partnerships, money. Somebody offered me $800 to rent the land for one day. It didn't work out, but it happened. All right. So yeah, I think buying multiple, because if you really think it's going to work out, you may have a point where you want to sell, but you might not sell if you only have one. So if you have two or three, I actually buy three now if I can. Why? I see it go up to a price that I could sell it and get all of my my loan paid, because I only buy them with loans. So let's say the NFT was $500. Take out a loan for $1,500. Buy three. Depending. If it's on Ethereum, you got to take out a loan for $2,000 to pay for the gas fee. So now I got to pay this $2,000 back. Let's say the NFT goes up, and now each one is worth $2,000. Maybe I'll sell one, pay back the loan, and now I have the two. Who cares? Whatever happens, happens. If one gets to be $1 million, I'll sell one, and I still got another one. Right? That's my strategy right now. And it's not easy because there's more money, right? If it's an NFT for $100, you got to spend $3. If it's an NFT for $1,000, you got to spend $3,000. I haven't done it every time because I don't have enough to borrow against, so I don't do it. I'm not going to spend my Ethereum or any other coin that I believe is much more valuable and will be more valuable for an NFT. So I only do what I could borrow. And then you really have to look at, do you believe this is going to be around for more than a year, more than 5 years, more than 10 years? So if you look at the NFTs I was showing you, you go to Miguel Sanchez.e. Most of the ones in here, I really do believe that. And I'll show you. This is me being part of the cool kids club of people who build stuff in the metaverse. That's going to be around. These people are building everything you see that's cool in the metaverse. These are the ones building it. Everybody in there is the people building it. So I want to be part of that group. Sandbox Land, the game hasn't even launched yet, and it's worth this much. Imagine when the game is launched, there's games on there where you can play and make money. I'm going to have games on my land where you can play and make money. So either way, and what happens? I got 4 of them, right? When it happens that one of these are worth a lot of money, maybe I sell one. Already, I could sell one and get all 4 of my money back. But I don't want to sell it. I want to see what happens with the actual games. Because if I can have 4 pieces of land where I can have games that make me money every day, that's better than selling the land right now. Same thing with Decentraland. I'm probably going to end up buying another piece of property, because what am I doing? I'm buying the coins when they go low, selling them when they go high, buying more when they go low, and I'm going to keep doing that. That's how I bought that piece of land. I started out buying $500 of Decentraland coin mana at the worst possible time. I bought it when it was worth one of the highest, but I was learning, and I learned, and I got there eventually. Like I said about the Mooncats, this is the 3rd ever project. I believe they're going to be around, and they're doing all kind of cool stuff. This is one of the first ever interactive blockchain projects on the blockchain. This is the first ever blockchain NFT project. This is the coolest kid NFT metaverse right now. Again, it might fall out of favor, who knows? But I'm going to be around to see, and I'll see what happens. I'll use it in many ways. I could put a mass ideation office in here. I could put a Meta Bronx office in here. It's like multiple ways I could use it. This Rug Radio, I didn't get to finish telling you. This is a decentralized media company that I own a percentage of because I own the NFT. That's cool. Imagine being able to own part of Spotify because you paid $350. That's what happened here. Basically paid $350. Now they're worth $2,000, but last week they were worth almost $5,000. They go up and down. But I was getting offers and I didn't take it because I do believe I'd rather own part of a decentralized podcast network and get revenue share. MetaKey is a cool kids again NFT where if you own it, you can go into certain locations in the metaverse that only people with the MetaKey are going to be able to get into. 1. 2, they're going to give you special NFTs that only people with this have. They're making partnerships with companies like NASA, a bunch of companies you probably don't know because they're NFT companies, and they're giving us free stuff just because we own this. And I could take that and sell it if I want. I already got an NFT that I could have sold for $700, and I think I paid $1,000 for this NFT. I knew that eventually I'll be able to sell stuff with it. Another cool thing that happened because I had that NFT. They have a space where you can go and watch Shark Tanks, like the show Shark Tank, where people are pitching ideas and there's investors around. So I had it. So I went to one in the metaverse in Decentraland, and I'm watching. And I see 2 companies that I'm like, oh man, that's pretty cool. So I reach out to the companies. And because I'm a MetaKey holder, they answered me. And now I might have a partnership with both of them. And I'll show you later. But right now, that all came because I had this NFT. That partnership can make me probably way more money than the price I paid for this NFT, right? So you have to also think about community, right? You're buying NFT to go into a community. The Mooncats is a huge community. It's 20,000 Mooncats. And they're all pretty understanding of what's cool because they were there first. They knew about this project first, and they know about NFTs. So another good community to be in, right? So you got to really think about this and say, okay, I'm joining a community. I'm believing in the art. I believe it's going to be worth more money one day, or not, or you're just cool with having it. And you're cool with having it. And if it doesn't turn into more money, you're cool. If it goes to zero, you're cool. A lot of these, I do not believe they'll go to zero. On my other wallets, I do have ones that I'm pretty sure and already have gone to zero. But these are all on my crypto wallet. So they're super safe. I could die and my kids will still have these. There's a way for me to hand this down to my kids, right? Versus if they're just in a MetaMask wallet, you probably have that on a piece of paper somewhere. You lose that piece of paper, you lost all your stuff. So I really recommend you getting one of these if you're going to start collecting NFTs. Buy this first. Buy the NFTs through this. Keep them on there. And if you're not doing this, don't just click on random links because they can rob you. So I believe that's all I wanted to make sure you guys understood. Of course, there's probably more stuff. But again, if you really want to stay up on what's going on with NFTs, join the mass ideation community. I'll put it right here. Go to massideation.community. When you press that, it's going to take you to the Discord. There's where I post a lot of the stuff I find. I answer a lot of questions throughout the week because, it's hard to keep track of all the social media. So if you're in there, you ask a question, I'll answer it. And there's a lot of people in there answering questions as well. Trying to make this little community of people that are trying to learn how to invest in innovation. NFTs is a big part of it. And there's a lot of cool things coming down the pipeline. Today we just saw that Snoop Dogg is creating a rap label around NFTs. I'm involved in a huge project in the hip hop space around NFTs. You can find out more about that in the Discord as well. You can invest in it yourself early if you want as well. So much, so much, so much. But start, just break the fear and go out there and purchase your first NFT based on doing your own research. Don't just look at what I bought. Don't look at what somebody else bought. Decide, do research, start figuring out what you like to collect. Because I do believe this is one of the biggest opportunities in history. Crypto's one, NFT's another. But there's also, with great opportunities, are great risks, right? There's definitely ways to lose your money. Just like, investing in the wrong coin. You can invest in the wrong NFT and lose your money. You have to be ready for that too. NFT, and just like crypto, is very similar to venture capital. You invest in a lot, and one or two end up bringing you back all the losses. That's what the richest people do. So NFTs are no different. You can't just buy one NFT and just be like, okay, I'm gonna be rich one day, maybe. It's not how it works. You have to invest in multiple and really, do your research, because you invest in 10 good ideas, maybe two will return you the entire investment and then some. But if you get lucky, that one you got right could turn to millions of dollars, like Bored Apes, which I missed on. But I didn't miss on the metaverse, and I plan to still watch. And if I see something I really believe in, I borrow off my crypto and buy it. It's a whole nother thing. I really think you shouldn't be buying NFTs with your own crypto. You should be leveraging your crypto to buy it. And there's a whole thing I teach people on how to do that. Again, if you go to the Discord, I literally have videos. They're all on my YouTube. They're just like sporadic. On the Discord, I have each video so you can see it. Yeah, and on that note, I think it's been a good show. Good to be back. I haven't done a video in a long time. Thank you for anybody who watched. Anytime you've watched, you watch this a year from now, I think it will still be relevant. And I hope you guys reach out about NFTs, purchases that you've purchased. I would like to see which ones you bought and why. I want you to explain why. Because if you can't explain why, don't buy. It's a good one. I might have to put that on a t-shirt. All right. So on that note, thank you. Have a good rest of your night. Please join the Discord and like this video. Subscribe to the YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for your time, and hopefully this was helpful.